Hello and welcome to this beginner-friendly guide on Microsoft Word macros. In today's lesson, we are going to learn what macros are, why they are useful, and most importantly, how to record your keyboard strokes and mouse clicks to automate tasks in Microsoft Word. Let's get started. First, what is a macro? A macro in Microsoft Word is a recorded sequence of actions. These actions can include typing text, formatting documents, clicking buttons, or performing repetitive tasks. Once recorded, you can replay the macro anytime, and Word will automatically repeat all those actions for you. Think of it like a shortcut that saves you time and effort. Macros are especially useful if you often do the same thing over and over again. For example, formatting reports, inserting headers, or creating tables. Now let's move on to how you can create or record a macro. Before you record a macro, you need to ensure that the Developer tab is visible in Microsoft Word. To enable it, go to the File menu, click on Options, then select Customize ribbon. On the right-hand side, check the box labeled Developer and click OK. Once the Developer tab is visible, click on it. Now look for the Record Macro button and click it. A dialog box will appear. Here, you need to give your macro a name. Choose a simple and meaningful name, like Format Text or Insert Header. Avoid spaces in the macro name. Next, you'll see two options. Assign the macro to a button or to a keyboard shortcut. Let's start with assigning a keyboard shortcut. Click on Keyboard. A new window will appear where you can press a key combination, such as Ctrl-Shift-F. Make sure the combination you choose is not already in use. Once you press your desired keys, click Assign, then Close. Now your macro is ready to start recording. As soon as you click OK, Microsoft Word will begin recording everything you do, your keyboard strokes and mouse clicks. This is very important. Every action you perform will be recorded, so make sure you only perform the steps you want included in the macro. Let's try a simple example. Start typing a sentence like, "This is a macro example." Now highlight the text using your mouse. Change the font size, make the text bold, and maybe change the color. You can also align the text to the center. All these keyboard strokes and mouse clicks are being recorded. Once you are done, go back to the Developer tab and click on Stop Recording. Congratulations, you have just created your first macro. Now let's see how to use it. To run your macro, simply use the keyboard shortcut you assigned earlier. Press the shortcut and Microsoft Word will repeat all the actions you recorded automatically. You'll see your text being formatted instantly without you doing each step manually. This is the power of macros. Now let's talk about recording mouse clicks. Macros can capture mouse actions such as clicking buttons, selecting text, or navigating menus. However, it's important to note that macros work best when actions are consistent. For example, if you click on a specific button in a specific location, the macro will repeat that exact action, so always make sure your steps are clear and consistent. If you make a mistake while recording, don't worry. You can simply delete the macro and record it again. To manage your macros, go to the Developer tab and click on Macros. You'll see a list of all the macros you've created. From here, you can run, edit, or delete macros. Another important tip is to save your document as a macro-enabled document. To do this, click File, then Save As, and choose the format Word Macro-Enabled Document, which has the extension .docm. If you save it as a normal Word document, your macro will not be saved. Now let's briefly talk about safety. Macros can be powerful, but they can also contain harmful code if downloaded from untrusted sources. Always enable macros only from trusted documents or people. Microsoft Word usually disables macros by default for security reasons. Finally, let's summarize what we've learned. A macro is a recorded set of actions in Microsoft Word. It helps automate repetitive tasks. You can record both keyboard strokes and mouse clicks. You can assign macros to keyboard shortcuts for quick access, and always save your work as a macro-enabled document. That brings us to the end of this lesson. With practice, macros can greatly improve your productivity and make your work much faster and easier. Thank you for watching or listening, and see you in the next tutorial. Macros are powerful tools that automate repetitive tasks by recording your keyboard strokes and mouse actions. But to use them efficiently, you need to follow some smart practices. Tip number 1, always plan before you record a macro. Before clicking Record Macro, take a moment to think through the exact steps you want to automate. This helps you avoid mistakes and unnecessary actions during recording. Tip number 2, keep your macros simple. When starting out, record short and clear tasks. For example, formatting text or inserting a header. Complex macros can be harder to manage and may not work as expected. Tip number 3, use meaningful names. Always name your macros based on what they do, such as FormatTitle or InsertTable. This makes it easier to find and use them later. Tip number 4. Assign keyboard shortcuts wisely. Choose shortcut keys that are easy to remember but not already used by Microsoft Word. This will save time and prevent conflicts. Tip number 5. Avoid unnecessary clicks. While recording, only perform the actions you need. Extra clicks or movements will also be recorded and can slow down your macro. Tip number 6. Use consistent steps. Macros work best when your actions follow a consistent pattern. For example, always select text before formatting it. Tip number 7. Test your macro immediately. After recording, run your macro to make sure it works correctly. If something is wrong, it's easier to fix it right away. Tip number 8. Save your document properly. Always save your file as a macro-enabled document with the extension .docm. Otherwise, your macros will be lost. Now let's move on to pro tips that will take your macro skills to the next level. Pro tip number 1. Use buttons for quick access. Instead of only using keyboard shortcuts, you can add your macros to the quick access toolbar. This allows you to run them with a single click. Pro tip number 2. Learn basic editing. You can edit macros by viewing the code in the Visual Basic Editor. Even learning small changes can make your macros more flexible. Pro tip number 3. Use relative references. When recording, try to make your actions adaptable. For example, avoid depending on a fixed position in the document. Pro tip number 4. Combine macros with templates. If you frequently create similar documents, combine macros with templates to fully automate your workflow. Pro tip number 5. Back up your macros. Export your macros or save them in a trusted location. This prevents losing your work if something goes wrong. Pro tip number 6. Be mindful of security. Only enable macros from trusted sources. Malicious macros can harm your computer or compromise your data. Pro tip number 7. Break complex tasks into smaller macros. Instead of one long macro, create several smaller ones and run them step by step. Pro tip number 8. Use descriptive comments in code. If you start editing macros, adding comments will help you understand what each part does later. Pro tip number 9. Practice regularly. The more you use macros, the more confident and efficient you become. Pro tip number 10. Think like a problem solver. Whenever you find yourself repeating a task, ask yourself, can I automate this with a macro? To summarize, macros can save you a lot of time and effort when used correctly. Plan your steps, keep things simple, test your macros, and always prioritize security. With these tips and pro tips, you are now better equipped to use Microsoft Word macros like a professional. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next lesson.